Sudan, it's time to vote.
Junub Sudan, it's time to vote.
Junub Sudan, it's time to vote.
Junub Sudan, time to vote.
South Sudan, time to vote.
Sudan in a referendum which will decide between separation or unity. The vote could create the world's newest country.
About whether the referendum would happen, because the two sides were really at loggerheads over it, and whether it could be held on time. So just to have it on time, to have the referendum, is itself a success, not just between the Sudanese, but also in terms of the Pan-Africanists, because Africa, the AU, the region, has come together and said, very forcefully, we want this to happen, and we want it to happen as peacefully.
I don't think there's any doubt that the international community and the North and South leadership want to avoid any possibility of armed conflict. And that's a very encouraging thing to us.
Suddenly, a new country has far more options, and the development community internationally is far more mature. We understand what can go wrong. We understand the ramifications of poor policies, of developmental objectives which are misdirected. And as you say, we understand the potential pitfalls of this so-called resource curse.
So come on, my friend. Let us go and vote in this referendum.
There are so many benefits from our unity as a country. I think in the long term, we shall have efficient and effective use of our national resources. Yes, in the short term, we have experienced difficulties, but we are moving towards the long term.
And during the period of transition, during the GPA period, China has been very assiduously courting the government of South Sudan. So I don't expect any major dislocations in the relationship between China and the new government of the new state.
Egypt is a factor in this part because of the Nile water issue, and also because, of course, North Sudan has had quite good links with Egypt, and Egypt has an interest in the referendum and in what happens after Sudan.
An amount of suspicion by many African countries, and certainly many Middle Eastern countries, and certainly a great number of Islamic countries outside of the Middle East about the interests of Israel. Now, there are all kinds of suspicions about Israel, but I think that at this stage most of them are unfounded.
The referendum is coming because of the long period of chauvinism and arrogance by those in the North who believe that those who call themselves Arabs are superior to the Africans and exploited the Africans.
There's euphoria here, a sense of great excitement, but some nervousness here in Juba and across southern Sudan.
The atmosphere here in Khartoum is somber because, of course, they won't be voting in this election. It's only Southerners who are voting in this referendum, and therefore there's a good deal of resignation here that this vote is going to go ahead. The chances of postponing it or just throwing it off the rails altogether, it's just not going to happen. There's an acceptance that international forces are just too strong in this case to reverse the process.
My last message, Junubin Azin Shunu, Junubin Azin to be separated in an independent nation. That is their demand. And this is the answer of the question that our brothers in the North have been saying it for the last 50 years.